What will happen to the people who work there? Joining me from Kingston is Jason Godin. He is the Ontario Regional President for the Union of Canadian Correctional Officers. Thank you, sir, for being with us this morning.
No problem.
So we were speaking with the mayor earlier, and he said he found out about this announcement on Facebook. How did you find out?
Well, we were equally as surprised about this announcement. There was really no warning from anybody. We found out when the minister chose to announce the decision yesterday.
So, effectively then, the workers at Kingston found out when the news hit?
Yeah, more or less, that's sort of how it went down. I mean, we obviously denounce this type of an announcement. There's been very little thought put into this type of decision. We certainly have a lot of concerns with where we're going with the future of federal corrections in Canada.
So can you tell me what is the next step for you? I mean, you didn't have any consultation about this. You didn't know it was coming. You've got all these workers that are now asking questions. Minister Taves, as you've heard, said that for the most part they think that they can be relocated. What can you do now in terms of trying to find out what's going to happen to them?
Well, it's, you know, our priority is certainly to hold Mr. Taves accountable for what he said yesterday. He indicated that we would be able to work through a process where we could deploy staff to other correctional institutions in the Kingston area. Certainly that is the priority, and in the next few days the union will be sitting down to meet with the members from those two institutions to see exactly what their priorities are. So at this stage of the game, we're going to remain optimistic that we can absorb the number of employees into the Kingston area institutions.
Okay, well, let's take a look at what Correctional Service Canada had to say when we contacted them, and this is a quote in part. These are aging facilities with infrastructure that does not lend itself well to the challenges of managing the institutional routines of today's complex offender population. The decommissioning of these institutions will enable CSC to achieve cost savings while ensuring public safety. Let me ask you about public safety, since there have been so many concerns already expressed about moving this current prison population to other facilities.
Well, there's a lot of concerns. First of all, Kingston Penitentiary has had hundreds of millions of dollars put into it in upgrades and retrofitting. So it's basically up to a standard today where it's a functioning prison for a very distinct inmate population group. From a public safety perspective, staff safety perspective, we're extremely concerned that we're closing over 400 maximum security beds where we have a very unique population. Some of these populations have to be kept separated because they just don't get along in other populations. So we're now going to displace or take 450 inmates, maximum security inmates, and try to absorb them into other inmate populations. And because the population is so unique at Kingston Penitentiary, it's virtually impossible to absorb that number of maximum security inmates into other institutions. They're
Sure.
just not compatible with other inmates.
When you say the population is so unique, you mean dangerous and in some cases mentally ill? Absolutely.
I mean, we estimate that close to 20% of our inmates in the system are suffering from some form of mental illness, and certainly there's a number of those inmates at Kingston Penitentiary, and right next door to there is the Regional Treatment Center, which houses over 130 inmates who suffer from mental illnesses. So we just, you know, again, this decision's been made very prematurely. There's no plan on how we're going to manage those offenders in different populations, and we don't have existing infrastructure, nor are we going to have infrastructure in the future that's going to be able to manage those types of inmate populations. So we're baffled by the government having no plan at all.
Well, certainly a lot of meetings to come on this. Jason Godin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.